You are listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report, episode 188.2.2, our game report from Oak Hill's 55-45 win over Northwestern, Oak Hill head coach Kevin Renbarger's 300th head coaching victory.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengels.
Welcome, basketball fans, to our report on Oak Hill's 55-45 win over Northwestern on Tuesday night. Of course, it was the 300th coaching win for Oak Hill head coach Kevin Renbarger. For a while, though, it did not look like it was going to be the night for Oak Hill. They fell behind 14-5 early in the game, got within 21-17 at halftime, and within a point at the end of the third quarter, then outscored Oak Hill 18-7 in the fourth quarter. Oak Hill was led by Jace Tonigal's 20-point and R.J. Sugart's 14. Landon Cruzen was 4 for 4 from the three-point line and had 12 points. Owen Middlesworth finished with 5 in the win. Northwestern was led by 16 points from Hayden Cook. And here is the Action Sports Network's Kevin Helfrich with a quick recap before we hear from Coach Renbarger.
Here at Northwestern High School, where I don't think I've been here since the 90s. Beautiful gym, great place, and a historic night. Kevin Renbarger, Oak Hill head coach, 300th career win as the Golden Eagles head coach. I'm here with Kevin Helfrich of the Action Sports Network, who called the game, and here to talk a little bit about what we saw. It looked like for a little while this wasn't going to happen tonight.
No, just the fashion that his team was able to get it done tonight is going to make it even that more special. The start they got resembled the one they had at Blackford a few weekends ago, and it didn't look good for them early on, but I think they learned a lesson back then. Several different players stepped up at different stages throughout the night, and to bring it home had to feel good for them, and Coach Renbarger's just done an outstanding job, and 300 wins says it all. So that's all you need to know. 300 wins in Indiana high school basketball, what a feat that is.
And as you said, tonight makes it more special. It's also kind of a representation of what Coach Renbarger is, getting down, making some coaching adjustments, and gutting out a win against two teams that are probably really pretty even.
Yeah, and you look, he took his best player out in the first quarter who just had not gotten off to the kind of start he's accustomed to, and Jace Tonigal sat there for 3 or 4 minutes, and he kind of thought, okay, when's he going to put him back in? But I think that changed the game for Jace. He was a completely different guy after that when he came out on the floor. And in his absence, they had guys step up. Tonight you had Landon Cruzen, a sophomore, who hadn't shot the three ball particularly well during the season, but tonight he hits 4 for 4. Big reason why they were in the basketball game until Tonigal could kind of get him going. And then R.J. Sugar, who offensively struggled for 3 quarters, brought him to the finish line with that fourth quarter performance.
Yeah, and you talk about Tonigal turning it on, and Sugar, the big shot of the night was Oak Hill down a point early in the fourth quarter. Tonigal penetrates. He's been scoring over and over. They overhelp on him. He finds Sugar, who hits the three-pointer, and Oak Hill never trailed again.
And that's what Tonigal does. He beats 2 or 3 people, and that leaves 2 or 3 other guys open. And when you leave R.J. Sugar open, set, forget about it. Lights out. That's going to be good 90% of the time, and just an outstanding bounce back by Sugar in that fourth quarter.
All right. Not pretty good performance by Northwestern for 3 quarters tonight. I thought they played really well.
Well, I thought they were effective early on. They attacked Oak Hill in the lane. They were 7 of 9, I believe, from 2-point range there early on. They hit their first 6 shots, and then Oak Hill did a better job defending. I thought they limited Northwestern to 1 offensive rebound that first half. Northwestern in the second half did what Coach Renbarger feared they would, and they gained 12 offensive rebounds, but they weren't able to finish those shots down low. And Oak Hill, hats off to them. Just a great defensive effort tonight. I thought they were solid in the second half.
Cook and Wilson are a problem inside. The issue probably tonight was, 7 or 8 missed 2-foot shots.
Yeah, they missed several bunnies, and they had the height advantage on Oak Hill. And that's the one thing where Oak Hill has been beaten this year at times with guys that are just a little bit bigger than them. But tonight I thought they fought really hard on defense. Tonigal in foul trouble there for most of that fourth quarter, and they were able to sub him in and out defensive or offense. And give Oak Hill credit. I thought the guys that came in off the bench may not have given them many points. The game outstanding effort in minutes, I thought.
Tonigal needs to know that when you're that good, you can't be taking silly fouls. That's, sometimes you're going to get fouls, but you can't be reaching when you've got 2 fouls early in the game.
Yeah, right. Especially when you got some big guys down low, just live to see the next play. And,
exactly.
Unfortunately tonight, I think he'll learn from that as well.
Exactly. Speaking of learning from, this is a big win late in the season. You go on the road again. 2 teams that are probably on the same level to go on the road and get a win. This can be some momentum for Oak Hill that looks like a serious contender in their section.
Yeah, and they've got another tough opponent come Friday night with Delta coming to town. But for this Oak Hill team to get to 15 wins, Grant and I think had talked early in the year, and I sort of project. I thought this is a team that could get to 15 wins. There are some teams on that schedule you weren't sure, but they've beaten some teams that you might have thought they weren't going to beat this year. And so credit to Kevin, the job he does. Teams are always prepared and they're going to play hard. You can count on that.
Kevin Helfrich, thank you so much for your time. Always good to see you.
Always enjoy being part of this show, and keep up the good work, and look forward to talking about sectionals and the end of the regular season here.
Thanks, you too. It's the best time of the year.
Yes, Greg, it really is.
If you're a basketball fan, there is no better time than the end of February and the beginning of March.
No doubt about it.
Please stay tuned for Oak Hill head coach Kevin Renbarger with Kevin Helfrich and Grant Schaus of the Action Sports Network.
You're listening to the Central Indiana Sports Report with your host, Greg Mengel.
100 wins. It's a lot of basketball players. It's a lot of great coaches, great support. Really, honestly, I want to thank the 3 people in my life that mean the most to me. My wife, who was not here tonight, she's sick. My son, and she wanted to be here more than anything because she knew this was a possibility. My son, who's coaching at Columbus East High School tonight, and my daughter, who I'm sure doesn't even realize we played a game. So the amount of sacrifice that those 3 people have had to endure over 20 years, basketball's been their life just as much as it has been my life. And, wouldn't be here without a lot of great players and coaches and, subpar managers. But also it takes a network at home. So that's my spiel.
And to do it, give a birthday shout out to your son, 27 years old.
Yeah, he's 27 years old today. So yeah, it ends up being February 25th. Ends up being a pretty daggone good day.
Talk about here. You got down early in this ball game. Got down 12 at one point in the first half. Chipped back at it. Got to be proud of your guys' effort.
It's a lot. It's a growing moment. Anybody that was at Blackford knows that we did the same thing exactly, almost carbon copy. We got down 6-0. Kevin calls a timeout. We get down 12-0. Kevin calls a timeout, and then the next thing you know, we're down 22-0 or 22-2, and the game's over. And so, for us to kind of get back in the game and chip back against a quality opponent and a great coaching staff, Mike Brazel and I go as far back as our days at Oak Hill. He coached at Oak Hill for a while, back in the Jared Odell era, and obviously Jim and I have coached against.
He coached with Slava.
Coached with Brian Alexander. So
that makes sense.
To go full circle, the JV coach is Brian Alexander's son. So Jim and I go way back. So obviously to coach against that staff, they're calling out all of our sets. They have us well. They have their team well prepared. It's quite a satisfying win to come in here and not only get down 12, but then end up winning by close to 10. It's a testament to the kids and how much they've grown in just a very short 2-week period of time.
You had guys step up at different stages all night long. I thought that first half, Landon Cruzen hits 4 threes tonight.
Yep.
Has struggled most of the year shooting that 3-point attempts, but tonight he kept you in it until Sugar could carry you over the line, and I thought Tonigal, whatever you did that first half, sitting him there for a few minutes, lit a fire under him, I believe, because he came out with a different guy.
Yeah, I can't repeat what Coach Knight says about motivation and how the bench motivates the player and all the spiel. If you don't know, you can YouTube it, look it up. But that's kind of where we were at with Jace. He just wasn't with us on both ends of the floor, and he needed to sit down and refocus. And he did. To his credit, he did. But you're absolutely right. We don't have a chance to win if Landon Cruzen, who had an opportunity to hit some big shots, steps up and hits big shots. It's no secret teams are going to try to take Jace away. And when he passes off, we've got to have people knock down shots. And we know that Landon is a kid that's absolutely capable of doing that. His opportunities have been few and far between, but he had some opportunities tonight and stepped up in the biggest way.
Coach, congratulations. I think your guys are ready to go celebrate with it.
Thank you so much to Coach Renbarger for coming up and joining the Central Indiana Sports Report, and to Grant Schaus and Kevin Helfrich, who do an amazing job bringing you the play-by-play and color from local high school games. I figured it was better to have them do the interview than me, since they know Coach Renbarger much better than I do. And thank you for listening. Always appreciate it. Please go subscribe to our YouTube channel. Even if you're already subscribed at Amazon, Apple, SoundCloud, or Spotify, please go over to YouTube and subscribe to our channel. Just search Central Indiana Sports Report. It is very easy to find. Appreciate you as always. The Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.